But unfortunately for Ari Felder, it marks the day she lost the love of her life. Morgan Felder was a hardworking and loving husband, brother, and son. Having dedicated his life to pursuing a practice of law with dreams of fighting for immigrants' rights.
His name was Morgan. Morgan Felder.
Your Honor, permission to screen share what has already been admitted as Exhibit 1.
Granted.
Felder. Ms. Felder, who are we looking at?
Yes, may I proceed? Hello, Ari Felder. I know this is a sensitive subject. However, there are some things that I believe members of the jury need to know. So I feel like it would be in your best interest to just answer my questions as easily as you can so we can get you out of here. All right?
Okay.
You killed your husband, Morgan Felder.
I went to a coffee shop, had a little gift ready, and was sipping coffee, sir.
You killed your husband, Morgan Felder. Yes or no?
No.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Felder, was your husband straight?
Yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Any recross?
Yes, just one question, Ms. Felder. Could you explain to the members of the jury how you know your husband was straight?
We were questioning for a while, both of us, and we both had the opportunity to experiment, and we both came to the conclusion that we were both straight.
Nothing further.
The RAD method, what did you determine?
I determined that Mr. Campbell engaged in something we in the piloting industry call WAP.
Dr. Sebchenko, what is WAP?
I know that WAP has some other meanings in other industries, but in the piloting industry, WAP stands for whack-ass piloting.
How did Reese Campbell engage in whack-ass piloting?
I'm usually down there. We get a ton of foot traffic from tourists, drunk tourists. So it's a great place. Come to think of it, I actually saw Mr. Fornish there last week. Did you ever find out who gave you that rash? Yes.
Wait, stop. Can you tell me about my future?
My future?
My
I don't
future.
know. What do you want to know?
Just like anything about my future.
You will go back to McDonald's.
How do you know my future?
Well, I know you're a Cancer and your birthday's on June 21st. What else would you
Would
like
it
to know?
surprise you today to learn that my birthday is actually June 10th and that I'm a Gemini?
You're a liar. I
I'm
checked
not
your-
a liar. You can
What?
look at my LinkedIn. I'm not a liar.
Well, my spirits are a little evil sometimes. They like to gaslight me.
Also very interested in Reese, and I'm saying,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. May I be heard?
You may.
Your Honor, while we do agree that Morgan's statements would be party opponent, this witness stated that she learned them from Reese Campbell. And therefore, Your Honor, it would be a statement contained within a statement, as it is Reese Campbell parroting Morgan Felder's statements. Therefore, the fact that it comes from Reese Campbell is hearsay.
Response?
Your Honor, I think the statements made everyone in the court do a bombastic side eye. So I think they should be allowed even if they are hearsay.
Your Honor, while I completely agree that the side eye was in fact bombastic, that is not sufficient to as an exception for the threshold for hearsay.
Unfortunately, I do have to agree. Bombastic side eye is not an exception.
Why do you think, excuse me, sorry. What did you see Ari doing?
well, and now I say this with a little concern and a lot of fear. She was right by the engine of our plane. And she
Objection,
was...
Your Honor.
On what grounds?
All right, it's just, that wasn't a vibe.
Any response to it not being a vibe?
do you point to me in the Midlands Rules of Evidence where not a vibe is?
Your Honor, I think that would fall under Rule 403 as it's more prejudicial than probative. That I'm saying this with a little bit of fear. Your Honor, that statement itself is prejudicial and not a vibe.
Defense would be amenable to have part where a little bit of fear is struck from the record, but everything else that the witness has stated in this line of questioning is kept on the record.
That's agreeable with the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Okay, that section.
All right. Well, Miss Kohler, you would recognize a picture of Morgan Felder if I were to show it to you today.
Oh, I will.
Your Honor, permission for my tech chair to publish what has been previously marked as Exhibit 1.5.
Sure.
Now, Miss Kohler, you recognize this, don't you?
Yes, I do.
This is a picture of Morgan and Ari Felder, correct?
Yeah.
This is when they first met, when they were young children.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I asked what has been previously marked as Exhibit 1.5, now be moved into evidence as Exhibit 1.5.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sure.
I don't like it.
ICC method stands for discover, investigate, and conclude. I actually have a demonstrative if that helps you.
I would love you to show the members of the jury this demonstrative.
Absolutely. So while I was sitting outside waiting to come in here, I made a little. So D for discover, I for investigate, and that's supposed to be a C. I have pretty bad handwriting, that's why I type up all my reports, but that's for my conclusion in today's case.
Okay, so this method is it cool if we just call it the Dick method? I feel like that's flows a little better.
I'd be amenable to that. Well, based off of my review from Andy Navarre's affidavit, that's kind of where we need to start, basically. That was the panic.
Under Rule 702D, may I be heard?
You may.
Your Honor, opposing counsel has mentioned that they use the Dick method, but they haven't laid any foundation as to how the Dick method is applied or how it's used in the field. And I just ask that opposing counsel lay that foundation before continuing with the
Foundation defense.
Sure, why not? So Mr. Heisman, how did you apply the Dick method to today's case?
Well, we start with the D. So we started by discovering all of the evidence in today's case. Specifically, I reviewed these things.
Amazing. And we might as well just jump into the I. You've already finished off the D pretty well. So you've mentioned Shannon Shahid's affidavit once you put all these pieces together.
Well, I also relied on Exhibit 16 as well, if you're familiar with that one.
Yes, I am very familiar with that. And it is going, give me one moment. Paying you by the hour, gosh, I can't even get my stuff together.
I'm making it like a bandit in this deal.
Yeah, I might be living off ramen for the next couple weeks. Okay. Permission to screen share on it? Okay. May I re-ask the question?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Like
So,
that,
Yes, stricken.
all right, I'm gonna have to take out a second mortgage. Mr. Heisman,
So if I put the engine from my Toyota Camry into a plane, it would fly?
Are you a picture of Morgan? Would you be able to recognize him? Of course. Your Honor, permission at this time for my tech share to screen share what I've been told we have now is Exhibit 1.75.
Of course.
Miss Eyre, does that appear to be a picture of Morgan Felder?
That does. I've seen Morgan quite a bit. I've only seen one picture of Ari ever, and it was the one that I showed earlier.
Would get someone else involved just because of his pride about being a good pilot. I'm sorry, but it's just not believable. They want you to believe that Reese should have never flown because it was the 4th of July. But there were planes flying all day. If all your friends are taking shots and you've already had 6, but you think you're okay, wouldn't you still take that shot? I know you would. We all would, especially if it's Tito's, and that's not on him. That's not his fault. And they shouldn't be trusted because of it. They talked about the WAP method, but is he Cardi B? I don't think so. Cardi could work for the NTSB, but Savchenko couldn't sing Bodak Yellow. And that's all I got to say about that.
An engine? But members of the jury, why should you trust a word they say?
Because during the cross-examination of Ms. Shannon Shahid, Mr. Fornish came up here and he told you to check his LinkedIn. Members of the jury, during the break, I actually went and checked his LinkedIn, and his birthday is in fact June 10th. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Mr. Felder, they never showed you that Ms. Felder was at that airfield. And members of the jury, they failed to show you anything at all. Well, what did we show you? We showed you that a firework hit that plane. We showed you that Mr. Campbell knew the risk of the firework hitting the plane. And members of the jury, we showed you that a firework caused the crash. Render the